Garrett got me this sweatshirt. It's two raccoons
Oh, that's cute.
with
Is that
really red eyes.
Oh, demonic raccoons.
is
Yeah.
that fireworks around them?
No, it's trees, man. They live in pine trees.
Oh, it's pine needles. Okay, I thought it was
Oh.
green fireworks. My
It was a
bad.
family of raccoons lighting off fireworks for their kids.
Nature.
Well, they're enjoying a barbecue and some great music.
What are they barbecuing? Trash?
Yep.
That's good. I like this narrative.
Good segue.
Mhm.
And I mean, we might as well just go right into it. We're talking today about the best album for a cookout. Very serious topic. Very, very serious.
It's a very hard topic as well, because as our special guest Brendan brought up, and John, most cookouts are playlist based,
Yes.
and we had a pretty intense discussion about, like, well, should it be a playlist or a song? But for me, there's always at least one album I need to sneak in, not in full, but like the whole thing is good,
Mhm.
and it's just a good vibe.
A lot on.
I too also do have a cookout playlist, but there's times where I'll just put on like this one album and be like, this is what we're going to listen to, because it's great.
Right.
And it's just like very chill music. And John's done it the same at his house. And Mike, when you have your cookouts this year, I'm sure you'll do it. So
Eventually.
This has been such an interesting phenomenon to me, where I didn't know that there was a cookout playlist. I didn't know that was a phenomenon.
See, you've been to my house
Yes.
and listened to many of them. I guess it's just sort of something that goes on in the background, and maybe you don't realize there's a lot of thought put into this ahead of the
He
cookout.
was too busy
Yeah.
wrestling on the trampoline. On John's trampoline.
yeah.
Remember that? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
Remember Adam and Misha's going away party? It was like 2 weeks of playlist planning on my end.
That's amazing. See, I didn't realize there was so much conscious effort put into
Oh
the
yeah.
making of the playlist. So this is all new to me.
But it sets the mood.
I know,
really
I know,
does.
I know. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I had a great time sort of diving into this and coming up with my answer. And I'm so confident in my answer. I think I have the best one. But no, this is all new to me. I didn't realize that so much work went into creating a hangout playlist.
Set in the mood for friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Serious business.
Curated the
really
food
is.
and the beer and the hooch.
And also, yes, let's welcome our guest today. His name is
Yeah.
Brendan. He is an old high school friend of mine, and also probably the person that listens to our podcast the most, and always has things to say after. He'll text me. And a very interesting fact that I think is going to blow everyone's minds here about Brendan: he does not have any social media, and never
wow.
has.
Yeah,
No
Nothing.
Twitter,
What
no
is it
Facebook,
like?
no Instagram.
that's fantastic.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
It
How do
has-
you, if you don't have any social media, how do you voice your opinions about the George Floyd case?
Wow. You go on the street corner, get yourself a soapbox.
Okay. Man, good for you. Good for you. You're doing it right.
Yeah, I envy him for that. Because
Yeah.
like I've taken substantial breaks from social media, but you always go back. But he's never, ever, not even MySpace or Friendster, none of it.
Wow.
I'm shocked he has an
about that.
email.
Tell me about that. Why
Why
didn't you ever get in? Why didn't you ever get in on it in the first place?
Because it's bullshit.
I mean, that's it. Yeah.
Unless you're selling unless you're doing it for business, what do you need it for? What the hell does the world need to know what you're doing?
Let me ask you this. Do you ever find that, like, when you get together with somebody you haven't seen, a group of people you haven't seen in a while, that they're all already caught up in what's been going on, and you actually genuinely want to talk to them about what they've been doing, but everyone else already knows because they've been following each other?
No, not at all.
No, it's not been a
No,
problem.
just pick up and go.
Okay. Nice.
It's wild.
Do you care what they've been up to? Like,
Doesn't concern me.
All right. I can tell you're a man of few words.
He
regular
sees who he
stone
wants to
cold
see and
boss.
keeps up with who he wants to keep up with. It's great. And it's the same thing with me. Like, there's people that I just don't keep up with on social media anymore, and just because I don't have the energy to do it. So it's like, well, I don't care what this person's doing. Yeah, we used to go out and drink ourselves stupid uptown all the time, but now it's just like, yeah,
Now we just do that at home.
yeah. Now we just do it at home.
Just drink a little stupid and privacy.
It's crazy because if people that
I'm
like to
talking
go
about
with
myself.
Brendan's like, I don't care what people are doing. It's just when you see someone you haven't seen in a while, and we're both on social media, and you ask them how they're doing, and their responses are like, "Oh, didn't you see my post?" No,
Never.
I'm asking you now because I obviously do not know.
Thank
And
you.
I obviously don't care enough to follow up with you every day on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. I don't care about this will go just completely off the rails.
See, I would say on the other side, and I'm not trying to make a big argument for social media, but it does help me a little bit when I see people that I haven't seen in a while, because I have some talking points. I could be like, oh, I saw that you did this a few weeks ago, or I saw that you did that. Where sometimes if I went before social media, I'd see someone I hadn't seen in like a year and just kind of be like, so how have you been? And then it's sort of a vague question when you haven't seen someone for a year. There's a lot of ground to cover. And so sometimes it helps me make the situation less awkward, but that's just
Whereas
me.
Brendan doesn't have any. Mike has some, but he's also very quiet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
don't.
don't post very much.
Yeah, you don't really interact except in the comments section, I see.
Correct.
I know.
Or
I know.
the Muse, the Daily Muse cat Instagram. Comment a lot. I feel like you just use Instagram for that one channel.
The
And I do
majority.
love that Mike always responds in all caps, like a complete psychopath.
That's my gimmick. No, that's
Yeah.
my gimmick, and I think it's hilarious.
I love it.
think
I love
it's
it so much.
hilarious.
That's your wrestling gimmick.
Listen here, brother.
No, I love
Yeah.
You name this cat Whiskers, and I don't find that name very, very creative.
it. No, the majority of my social media activity is based around cats.
Yep.
And I think that's the way to go.
I think that's the big. It's a big.
And I'm a little concerned with Brendan not having social media. How do you interact with cats? With adorable cat pictures?
with his hands.
Yeah, how do you access adorable
Allergic?
cat pictures?
Allergic to them?
Oh gosh.
That's why he doesn't have social media.
Yep.
So how do you fare at Eric's house? Because I know he's got a bunch of cats.
Just dies there.
They're fine. They stay to themselves. Those cats stay upstairs.
Okay. Because I've been there and like anywhere with cats, like even Mike's house, I have to limit my time, which is
I
good for
almost
both
died
of
in
us.
mine.
It's good
It's
for
not like
everyone.
Chris's house where like they bury them in the bit, not bury them, but keep them locked up in the basement.
All right.
So,
All
yeah,
right, let's get into our topic. Who wants to kick this thing off?
I think Mike should go first.
Yeah.
Mine's pretty short, so I can go early if that's cool.
Yeah, I'll go
I think these
first.
are all pretty short, but yeah, I'll go after Mike.
Sure. I'm super excited about this topic. I didn't quite get it at first, but the more I started thinking about it, it really resonated with me. And so I put a lot of effort into it, and I feel like I came up with what is probably the perfect answer. So now I will delve into that. I don't think that if you're having a hangout, the last thing that I want somebody to do is try to think how to phrase this. The last thing I want somebody to do is notice the music and comment on it, but I also want them to notice it in their head and say, oh, this is cool music. Like, I don't want to make the music the star of the show. I want to make the gathering the star of the show. So I want something that's innocuous, but also noticeably cool. And so having said that, I don't want anything that's noticeably over-representative of any single genre. So I don't want anything that's too rappy. I don't want anything that's too 80s-y. Like, I love 80s metal. I love 90s second tier alternative, but I don't want to play that in my gathering because I don't want that to be I don't want that to set the theme. I don't want that to set the tone. But also, I don't think that this is the time for me to show off how great my taste in music is. I think you can get to I think it's very attractive. Joe, I'll wait till you're done talking to your
Sorry,
wife.
2 butterflies are just trying to mate. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I think it's very attractive to put together a playlist for a social gathering and put on all your coolest songs. And I don't want that to be, I don't think that's the venue for this. I don't think that's the venue for this. So what I'm looking for is something innocuous, but something yet cool, something that I can put on in the background that nobody will, that won't detract anybody from what's going on, but in the back of their mind, they'll say, man, this guy's got a great sense of what's going on. And so this took me back to our first episode when I thought about, when I mentioned that Maroon 5 and Jason Mraz and Train, there's a reason why everybody likes those three bands and or people. And it's because they're so like harmless, they're so backgroundy, but they're not cool. So what I was looking for was a cool version of backgroundy. And I think I came up with the best answer for this question of all time. So my best barbecue album is Ryan Adams' Rock and Roll album that came out in 2003. Every song from top to bottom is really cool, but nothing that's going to take you away from what's going on with your friends. But if you were to take a moment out and listen to what's going on the speakers, you'd be like, oh, this is kind of cool. I really like the mood that's being set here, but it's nothing that's going to take you out of the social environment. And I'm assuming that the party that we're at is not music themed. Like we're not here to listen to music.
No, never.
If we're just here to hang out with our friends, and if you want cool music in the background, I'm going Ryan Adams, Rock and Roll. Brian Adams, yeah. I want to emphasize, don't go Brian Adams. That's a different, don't go Robin Hood soundtrack.
You could
That would be a miss.
You could put one Brian Adams song on a playlist, but you don't want an album.
You don't want to go full Brian.
No.
Right.
Even then, you got like 5 songs at the most you can come up
Yeah.
with.
But that was a very good explanation about how you don't want it to control the party. You just want it there. You just want it ambiance.
Right. Well, and that I was
You don't
going
want
to
it to be a thing. Yeah.
It goes to why that I think that Mike has never noticed, Greg, that you and I are putting these playlists together that we put a lot of thought in, but that is one of the criteria is that you don't want to draw too much attention to it. You want it to be like pleasant background music that everybody can enjoy without thinking too much about. And
Yeah, you don't. I'll put on a Flaming Lips song that's like very chill, but I'm not going to put on a Flaming Lips song that's just straight up static.
Yeah.
Because that's not because then people will be like, "Is there something wrong with your speakers?" No, that's just the Flaming Lips. That's just how they sound on this song.
Yeah. If I'm at a party, say I'm in a party and I'm staying in a circle and I'm having a conversation, I don't want somebody in that circle to, in the middle of the conversation, say, oh, that's a weird song, or say, oh, what song is this? Or, oh, what song is that? Or any sort of distraction from the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the same with like, I always put like LCD Sound System on the playlist, but there's certainly songs that do not belong that are just like,
Rabble razzle.
Yeah. You don't want any rabble razzle happening.
I have one.
You want people to just hear a song and be like, all right, swim swam. And then they're out.
That's the safe word. That's a throwback.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I just have one thing that like I haven't listened to that album in a while, but is there any like downer songs on it? Because that's one thing I think you have to be careful of in this scenario. Because you know it could be a great album, but then you hit like that one song that's like slow and depressing. Is there any of those on this one or no? I can't remember.
No, it's like like you're listening to like you've got Nirvana on, and then Something in the Way comes on.
Right. Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, I just remembered I got to go pick up the kids. No, I just listened to the album today, and from top to bottom, it's a fantastic hangout album.
Yeah, I might have to revisit that. I have it on my Apple Music. I love Ryan Adams. He's great. Minus all the.
He's been canceled, but you know.
He's been canceled.
Has he? Wait.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
yeah, you got a little touchy feely.
Yeah.
Oh,
He got,
really?
he got a little weird with Mandy Moore.
Oh no. Oh, do we need to edit this out? I didn't know that.
It's all
We're
right.
not gonna edit this
No,
out, but I apologize. I didn't know.
No, it's fine. No,
All
I
right.
mean his stuff is weird. It's more like in relationships that he was in. He's like mentally and emotionally
Right.
abusive kind of, and there's definitely been a pattern, and a few people that he'd been in relationships spoke up about it, and
I think Jenny Lewis spoke up about it.
Phoebe
Oh,
Bridgers wrote
no.
up a
Oh,
song.
I think
man. Now
Phoebe
I'm gonna get
Bridgers, but she has to attach her name to everything. So
Yeah, emotional breakup is
uh,
definitely about Ryan Adams.
with that,
Emotional breakup, emotional sadness, whatever the hell the name of the song is, definitely
Yeah.
about Ryan Adams.
I mean, he's a hell of a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Okay, so honestly, my apologies if that offended anybody. I didn't know, but if coming to a cookout at my house, we're listening to Ryan Adams.
And we're gonna mentally break down some women.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
My
No, that's
God,
not on
no.
the agenda.
You're gonna need
That's
a giant
not on the
distinguisher
agenda.
for this.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Getting burgers and dogs.
Yep.
The views of these individuals do not.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with my choice. I'm gonna
like,
say what my choice is.
Or
I'm going with a very chill band that I think it was actually John got me into them initially. I knew of them, but I was never aware until he brought them to Woods of Old one year. And John did bring up a good point that does this album have like sad songs on it? And one of their albums does, so I pushed that one to the side. But the War on Drugs, Lost in a Dream, is
Oh,
a
wow.
fantastic background album for sure. Not so much just because of the noodling that they do that I know John gets bummed about sometimes, but the just the overall sound, it's very chill. His voice isn't abrasive at all.
Nope.
Lyric content is, unless you're really listening, you're not gonna be like, oh, so that's what he's talking about. Like you're not at a cookout to listen to song lyrics.
No.
And it's not like Woods of Old where like, all right, everyone sit down, we're gonna listen to this record. No.
Right.
So it's just a very chill, audibly pleasing album.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm not too familiar with War on Drugs, but all the songs that I know of theirs are very sad, aren't they?
It's
Well,
like
their last album's pretty sad,
Okay, maybe that's
but there's some good uppers on it. I do know the Lost in a Dream album. That was I think the one year we listened to it at Woods of Old. I think it was you, me, John, and Eric upstairs, and we were just like looking out the window and stuff. And then somebody was like, "John, you remember when you got here like 2 hours ago?" And it was just
And it felt like I'd been there for
Yeah,
all day.
for months. But yeah, it's just such a great album, and it hits.
The thing with them, with anything that's a downer, I feel like it's only if you really start listening to the lyrics, because I think the mood of the music is generally pretty laid back and
Yeah, for sure.
and kind of nice, but yeah, if you start diving in, there's some heavy stuff happening lyrically.
It was like Vampire Weekend. They were another close second for me for this.
Oh, that's a good call.
Like some of their songs are so happy and poppy sounding, and you sit there with the lyrics and like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
these guys are kind of sad, I think.
But I think that's fine, because you're generally not going to be diving into the lyrics when you're hanging out at a barbecue. You're just
Right.
you want that mood setter. So that
I mean,
think it's
shit. Look at Pet Sounds, happiest album sounding thing. Then you listen to the lyrics, like Jesus.
yeah, not happy at all. Completely opposite.
No, so yeah, I think I'm more of an audible like music for cookouts. Like I would love to play Explosions in the Sky, but that gets so abrasive at times.
Yeah.
It's just a lot more noise. The Hot at Nights are a great band. You could play.
Oh, that's a great one.
Even them, even some of that's a little bit just like they're just dicking around, making noise. But yeah, my pick is War on Drugs. A close second for me is the Eagles' Greatest Hits.
Ooh.
Oh wow, that's a great point.
Oh yeah,
I kind of like Vampire Weekend. That was a good call as well.
I definitely thought about them for this.
And another one I thought of real quick was ELO.
You like
Oh.
it?
Oh wow, that is a band that I've never heard any of their songs. I always hear everybody talk about them.
You
but I've-
definitely have. You
Yeah.
just don't know.
Nope.
You just don't know it's ELO.
It's one of
Okay.
those bands.
I bet I could send you like 3 songs by them, and you'd be like, "Oh, this is ELO."
Wait a minute. Did we go to see them in concert one time and we sat in the sound booth? With
No.
ELO or War on Drugs? Wait, sorry.
War
ELO.
on Drugs we saw on my birthday. Sound booth was Manchester Orchestra.
Oh, Manchester Orchestra. Okay, that's who I'm thinking of.
Big difference.
Okay.
Totally big
Okay.
difference.
You're right. Manchester Orchestra is who I was thinking of. Sorry.
Yeah. ELO, if you watched any of the Marvel movies, they opened up Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I haven't seen any of this because I'm not a little baby. Because I'm not a little baby.
But there's a baby Groot.
Love it.
Well, have fun with your baby Yoda. Piece of shit.
I don't like
You know,
baby
one,
Yoda.
I love how you guys are so close to friends and will dislike the other's one of their favorite franchises. So
Yeah,
Greg
man.
does not watch Star Wars. Maybe you've watched one this year, I think maybe, but doesn't watch Star Wars, doesn't get it, doesn't like it. Mike Baby, the same thing with all of Marvel. I think you're both offensive. I think there's a lot of great content on both franchises, and you're both wrong. You're both right.
It's
Mike,
just
you
too.
more
It's
of a
just
DC
too.
person, or you just don't like comic book movies in general?
I don't like comic book
They just
movies
don't like
because I'm
fun.
not a little baby.
They
Because
just
I'm
don't
not
like
a little
fun
child.
and eating popcorn and drinking soda,
You
having
recline
fun with their friends.
I don't know, man. If you're over 15 and you're watching those, you got some serious problems.
That's a lot of people.
yeah.
Well, that's why they have the highest grossing film of all time and not Star Wars.
Ooh.
I got nothing. Just a testament with what's wrong with the world today. I think Star Wars. I think. I don't want to get into. I know this isn't a Disney Plus podcast, but I think The Mandalorian. I've never seen The Mandalorian, but I feel like it's turned into like The Family Guy, where it's just like reference after reference after reference. I don't know. I've never seen it, so I might be wrong.
I think it was done. I think they did it tastefully.
Mandalorian's
okay.
good. Yeah,
Okay.
But anyway, I got to pick.
go for it.
Funny thing is, it took me. This is a tough one, and it took me a while to come up with one. So I didn't really write anything down for this episode because I picked like pretty much right before we got on. I finally was like, okay. But when I asked some of my friends, one of them had the fastest answer ever. I was like, oh, what do you think would be like? What's the best album for a barbecue? And he immediately goes, oh, that's easy. Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style. Immediately, it's like his brain went instant. Like that's the record, which I don't disagree with. I think that's a great pick. I think that's an amazing
That's a
pick.
really good
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah,
a
immediate
really
answer.
good
Immediate
answer.
answer. I was like, dude, I'm so jealous of you. I cannot pick like that quickly on something like this. I was also told Little Feat. Was it Waiting for Columbus, the live version? I've got to check that out. I haven't checked that out yet. But no,
I don't like that. I don't like that Little Feat answer. That's a little too obscure. I think you're gonna look like an asshole if you play that. But Snoop Dogg, that's a really good answer.
yeah,
Holy
I
shit.
think that's a great answer. It's not my pick because I'm going based on.
Oh,
if
that's
I'm
not
gonna
your
say
pick.
greatest. If I'm going to say greatest, arguably that's probably it. Arguably, but for me and my experiences at barbecues, when I have that aha, a fresh can of Sprite moment where you're just like everything's good in the world. It always happens for me when Creedence Clearwater comes on.
Oh man, that's
All
such
right.
a good answer.
Yeah.
That is such a good
And
answer.
if I'm picking Creedence Clearwater, I'm picking Green River. And if I'm having a barbecue, I'm not picking a full album because I think most people will leave if you put on a full album front to back at a barbecue. They want a playlist. So I would say their greatest hits. But yeah, CCR, I just feel American in all the good ways, listening to them outside in the summer, drinking a beer, eating a burger, like them, they come on and everything just clicks, like perfect setting for a barbecue, period. And yeah, I love that band. And as I get older, I like them more and more. And it's their music's so animated. It's so alive and breathing when you listen to their tracks. And when you really dive into the instrumentation, it's like maxed out for me for like classic rock. So that's my answer. Creedence Clearwater, greatest hits, and Green River.
Nice.
So not Kid Rock.
Not Kid Rock.
That's such a good answer, man. Because
Great.
when I first started drinking, when I first started getting into drinking, I was like a sophomore in college, and so it was the summer between my sophomore and junior year, and we used to have a lot of our cookouts during the summer between like with these old like here in the South, like all my friends were lifelong Southerners, and all of their parents were big into Creedence, and so it was the first time where a parent would say, "Hey, man, have a beer," and I'd be like, "All right, I will." So it's just such a good memory for me, drinking beer at a cookout, listening to Creedence, and I almost went with that. I almost went with Greatest Hits.
Can I tell you my favorite barbecue moment ever?
Absolutely, please.
I don't know what you just. I think because you just brought up beer, the memory just clicked in. I was up in New Hampshire going on. It was me and Carl were on a hike, and we had this like little grill, this little like gas grill, and we're cooking hot dogs by a river, and these guys float over down the river on a makeshift raft, like just made out of sticks and stuff. They had long hair, like mullets. Like this is deep into New Hampshire, and they just come by and they're like, "Hey, we'll trade you a hot dog for a beer." So they float over and we make them hot dogs. We just had ketchup. We hand them hot dogs from the raft. They throw us 2 Bud Heavies and they go off down the river. And I'm just like, this is the greatest barbecue moment of my life. Like our 2 worlds just collided. We're from the suburbs right outside the city, like right outside of Boston. And they're from in the middle of nowhere, New Hampshire. And this river just brings us together. We trade resources. They get what they need. We get what we need. They go on their way. And we have ourselves a cold one and a hot dog.
Good
I hope
bar.
they're doing a podcast today telling the same exact story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At one time at band camp.
Great. That's fun. Brendan,
Yeah.
what's your pick?
What's that?
What's your pick?
I'm choosing between 3. I was thinking Vampire Weekend like you guys were, their self-titled album.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kiefer Sutherland's sophomore album.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did hear that right. You did hear that right. Yes, Jack Bauer has an album.
What?
Yeah. It's called Reckless in Me.
What kind of music is it?
It's kind of folky country.
Okay.
But is this the Bacon Brothers or wait, no, I'm getting Kevin Bacon mixed up with Keith Sutherland. Wow, he has.
Wait, tell
No,
me.
I had
Let's
no
go.
idea.
Wait, hold on.
Now we gotta go into this.
Can you rewind this a little bit? So I didn't know that Kiefer Sutherland was a musician. So let's start there. Let's start there. So he has it. What's his band called?
It's just him. It's not a band. It's just him, Kiefer Sutherland.
What's the album called?
Band, but it's just look up Kiefer Sutherland.
Okay.
Look at her name.
I'm up.
The album's called Reckless in Me,
Okay.
and it's pretty damn enjoyable. You know, you don't like it, Jack Bauer might show up at your house with a gun, and but it's pretty. I was caught off guard. I kind of popped up on Spotify, like, you like this, you might like this. Like, oh, Spotify knows what I want to listen to.
Wow.
Well, Spotify told you it's
Yeah, Spotify tells you it's like totally legit, right?
phone's going on.
Number 1 in
That's
the
fine.
UK country albums.
Well, actually, I should say that's my laptop going off from my phone, but but yeah, was totally caught off guard. I was like, oh, it's gonna be some crappy, like, oh, I'm bored in between movie shoots, television shoots, but give it a listen. It's pretty good. Wasn't my choice, but
Okay.
Discussion. Greg knows what my choice is. You guys brought it up last week. This album came out in June of 2012. Was recorded in Nashville and Vancouver and released on Polyvinyl Records. It's Japan Droid Celebration Rock.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great
There we
barbecue
go.
record.
There we go.
Very, very popular record.
I'm a huge fan of that album.
Yeah.
You thinking summer cookouts? I mean, this album's bookended with fireworks going off at the beginning, fireworks going off at the end.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Doesn't get more cookout than that.
Yeah.
But if you listen,
Lyrics are incredible.
totally upbeat the whole way through. There's no down track whatsoever. Just, I mean, it's 2 guys jamming in their garage is basically what the album is. They themselves have even said they tried to like sequence the album like Appetite for Destruction, where side A is all in your face and then side B being a little more poppier. So, but yeah, that's my pick. I mean, you really can't go wrong with an album that is just from start to finish, just high tempo energy. I mean, there's not much lyrics to look into there. It's just,
Oh, I love the lyrics of that album. That's my favorite part of that album is the lyrics.
but
It reminds me of being like when I was like really excited about design when I was in art school, and for like all the good reasons of like discovering art. Like that's what the lyrics of this album remind me of, like sophomore year college. I love the lyrics on this album.
Yeah, dude, this album is amazing. And depending on the day that you ask me, Continuous Thunder is one of my favorite songs of all time.
it's
I
pretty,
love
yeah.
that song so much. I
It's
love
like
it so much.
angry. It's like romantic in the like for music's sake. Like you can tell the lyrics are about loving music, like loving loud music, and just being like a fuck up and having a good time in the summer. And yeah, just oh man, great pick.
They did
Big one.
what I did find doing a little research on the album. The lead singer did say he cited Malcolm Lowry's album book Under the Volcano for his lyrical layout for the album. Never read the book, but might be worth looking into to see where it connotates together.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Does Kiefer Sutherland mention Lost Boys in any of his?
No, there's no B-side for the Lost Boys. Sorry.
So I'm just making a note here on my notes. So 1, learn to read. 2, look up Japan Droid's book. Did I get it? Is that pretty? Is that
Yeah.
good? Okay. All right.
Well, it's not the Japan Droid's book, but yeah.
No, I know. I was doing a
I know
comment.
you're doing a joke.
But that's such a great pick, man. I feel like I should have went with Japan Droids last week instead of Tim Berry. But we did get the Jello Shooter computer run. But
That's true.
no, that's a great pick, man. That's a great album.
Well, John, now that you expressed the fact that you and I both put a lot of work into our playlist, what was your album?
Well, my album is, of course, the correct answer to this question. It took me about 2 minutes to make my decision. And the correct album is Graceland by Paul Simon.
Nice.
It's almost impossible, I would say, that if you're having people over for a cookout and you put this album on, that anybody would have any problem with it. Not only would they not have any problem with it, but it fits all those criteria that it can kind of be on in the background and enjoyable without anyone having to think too much about it.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a couple moments where someone's like, oh man, I love this song. And that's about the only comment you're probably going to get on Graceland, in my opinion. I do a lot of cooking at home, and it's kind of my go-to album for cooking. It's just got that it makes you feel good. There's like all these kind of up-tempo, nice feeling songs, and if you want to think at all, you can think and listen to it and delve into stuff.
Why would I want to do that?
Why would you want to? If you don't want to, you don't have to.
No,
That's
I'm
the
not here for
beauty
that.
of it. You can just listen to it and it'll just be there. But if you want to think about it, you can. We got into it a couple weeks ago. It's also it's the perfect dad album.
Yep.
It's
Which
the
I think
single best
ties
dad
into
album of all time. It's the single best dad album of all time.
Gotta get that on vinyl.
Yeah, and I think that ties into the cookout thing, because I think you can picture almost any dad grilling while listening to Graceland by Paul Simon, and I can't think of a better record for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll vouch for that, because I do recall hearing a lot of that whenever you were cooking up your famous Nolan turkey burgers.
Yeah,
I want to talk about Paul Simon Graceland for a while, because you guys might not know this about me, but I am actually the world's leading authority on Paul Simon Graceland.
Is that right?
It is. It's very true. It's very true. So,
A
a lot of people. So I'm going to offer you these 2 nuggets of wisdom regarding that album. So a lot of people are going to tell you that maybe You Can Call Me Al or Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes are, and maybe even Homeless, which was the best-selling single on that album, are the best songs on that album. But I'm going to give you a little inside baseball. The secret best song on Paul Simon's Graceland is Boy in the Bubble, the intro track. But then the second best secret song is Under African Skies. Under African Skies. Gets very little love. So those are the two best songs on Paul Simon.
I would back that. I would say that there isn't one song that's even close to mediocre, let alone bad. Every single song on the album is very good to great. So, I mean, you could pick any of them and single out a lot of stuff that's almost, and it's still somehow as appreciated as it is, it's still, I think, somehow underappreciated. Like you said, like, because you can like take some songs like that maybe aren't the most celebrated, and you can really dive into them still and think about them and listen to them, and they're still great. It's amazing.
The bass alone is insanely good.
Yeah.
On this record, the lyrics are incredibly unique. Where it's, I kind of talk about this on other episodes, but it's like a home recipe of you can only get lyrics like this from this place. He pushes that further than I think any lyricist I can think of off the top of my head. He pushes it to using such specific words and such weird, like little animated things where you just see like a little cartoon inside the song. And you're like, where did this come from? Like, how does your brain work? You just want to get to know him as a person more. You read into the lyrics and just try to be like, how? Like,
yeah.
Has anyone seen him live?
No, I've never seen him live.
Yes, I saw him in Charlotte.
Oh, nice.
And he was amazing. Probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where did he play?
He played at what's that amphitheater? I feel like it's always changing names, but like some bank always kind of.
Oh, Neighborhood Theater. Neighborhood Theater?
No, it's the big like it's like the outdoor.
Like the big one, or like the one by the Music Factory?
In the Music Factory.
Okay, so that one where like you guys have played that one. And
yeah,
there are a lot of outdoor shows. Yeah. I can't remember the name. I don't know
what's it called. Yeah,
it's like the Access Exchange.
Yeah,
Whoever bought the naming rights this week.
Yeah.
It's a great venue.
Yeah, and he was great. We saw him, and it was one of his encores that he played "Sound of Silence," and he did that by himself.
Oh, Disturbed cover. He did a
Disturbed cover. Yeah, it's surprising.
Cover of a cover, great.
Yeah, I didn't know he was such a big Disturbed fan.
Yeah, well, aren't we all? And then after that, he did Ball with the Ball.
Throw a little zombie
Ball
in
with
there.
the ball. Ball with the ball.
Just a quick.
He did Sound of Silence, and while he was doing it, a train went by in the distance and like honked very, very loudly.
Yep, that's the area.
And he actually stopped for a second to like listen to the train go by, and then said something like, "Oh, that's amazing, isn't it?" And then just started playing the song again.
It's like the sleepy tapes. It's like yeah, he's just like
Neil.
He's trying to comfort the crowd. Just listen to that train, everyone. Isn't that amazing? Where's it going? Are you on that train? Am I on that train?
It's not a good barbecue album.
Yeah, that's not.
That's funny.
Whenever Paul Simon Graceland came out, I really responded to it as a kid. I don't know if it was because my dad was so into it, or just we listened to it every day. But I remember one time I put together a skit for my parents. So I kind of said, "Hey, you guys come into my room." So my parents came into my room, and I did like a radio DJ voice. And I was like, "Hey, this is Mike Monzetta with Beaumont's K106 rock station. And Our first song of the evening is Paul Simon with Boy in the Bubble. And then I went into, and so then I did, and so then I went, dun, 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 dun. It was a slow day, and the sun was beating on the soldiers by the side of the road. And I sang the entire song.
Wow.
And so then, word for word. And so then at the end of the song, I went, and that was Paul Simon's Boy in the Bubble on Beaumont, Texas's K106.5. And coming up next is Paul Simon's Diamonds. And my parents went, okay, you know what? I think we're probably gonna cut it off here. And they just walked out.
All they needed. It was such a perfect song.
I remember it like it was yesterday, man. And I didn't even have like
Would you have kept going if they had just stood there and like
11 tracks.
I don't know what the end game was. I don't know what the end game was.
You want to be the morning guy on the
I
high
just
school
wanted,
radio.
John, I just thought it would be nice if my parents paid attention to me for a change.
yeah.
I think that's
got
what it was.
And that's the angle you went with.
Mhm.
You have
Yeah,
to
so
go
I
to
did. I
the
got
radio
through.
too.
I got through Boy in the Bubble from T to B, but that
Yeah.
was it.
That's
Anyway,
great.
that's one of my favorite albums. That's a great pick. My only concern,
Mhm.
were you to play that at a cookout, do you think somebody would be like, all right, this is an old ass cookout? Do you think somebody would be like, we need to put on maybe
Something a little more
yeah,
contemporary.
like Ryan Adams, for
James
example?
Taylor.
Yeah.
something from like 25 years ago instead of like
As
35
opposed
years.
to 90.
Yeah. It's updated some.
Maybe. I mean, I guess I'm basing this on maybe the people that would be at a cookout that I would throw. So, I mean, I think if they're, you know, maybe not across the board. If you're, you know, if you have a lot of friends that are under the age of 30, which I don't, you know,
No.
you might get a different.
Well, I mean, you lost me at a lot of friends. No, I think that's a great pick. That's a great.
Another pick I was toying with was Alabama Shake's first album.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That got a lot of play at Adam and Misha's during their cookouts.
Did they get canceled too, though?
The drummer did just recently for abusing his children.
Oh Jesus!
God.
That's a well-deserved cancellation.
Yeah, I would say so.
And I think the Killer's Hot Fuss.
Yeah.
is good.
Oh, that's a good album too.
It was
Anything?
interesting.
Well,
I mean, that was a dad album recently.
it is. That was the new Dad album. Is the Killer's Hot Fuss?
I don't think it is. I don't think that's a dad album at all.
it is.
Oh,
And Brendan
no.
will. I think the story I told was that I was at Eric's house when that album came out, and his dad was like, Lou Lockle. He was like, "Hey, you hear this new song by this band called The Killers? Really good." And I was like, huh.
Like, oh,
And he loved it. It was great.
is that the album with Mr. Brightside on it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great album.
Oh, it's fantastic.
it is. I love it. I don't.
Even
think
the
it's-
new
Samstown,
stuff.
Samstown is a great album.
But that's a different kind of dad album though, because I feel like there's those dad albums where a dad hears it who's not really into music that much and is just like, what is this? I like this. You know, like my dad got into Green Day's American Idiot like that.
Wow, really?
Jeez.
Yeah, my dad is like conservative Christian, but for some reason he heard American Idiot and was like, what is this? I like this. And like got the album and like got into it.
That's
But I
amazing.
feel like that's a different kind of dad album. You know what I mean? Like, and I my friend Sean, or who's in Taking Back Sunday, he always tells me a story that I love about his dad hearing CNC Music Factory like when he was a kid and being like, what, the same kind of thing. Like, what is this? I gotta get that. And like, you went out and bought CNC Music Factory's album.
That's fantastic.
So good.
Everybody dance now.
There's other songs on that album besides that?
Yeah, I don't know if they ever put out any more music after that.
Or it's just remixes of the same song over and over again.
I was just thinking, imagine if when Paul Simon stopped his song and everyone thought it was the train, and it just ended up actually being the Venga Boys. And the bus was just going by, just ruined the whole concert. Could have happened.
Well,
The
what
old
would
guy
have
from
been
the song.
perfect is if he started playing that song
Yeah.
acoustic. He did the Venga Bus acoustic version.
Would he do the beeps with his mouth? Just woo, woo.
Getting old Peter Frampton.
Have an old guy dancing with a cane in the background.
You'd have to do the beeps with the harmonica. You'd have to do the Venga Bus horn beeping with the harmonica, I think. Yeah, yeah, that would be my instrument of choice.
John, you bring up a great point. Disturbed did a Sound of Silence cover.
Mhm.
Is Paul Simon due for a Disturbed cover?
Stupefy.
Maybe. I mean, they've had success. Maybe they'll take a song from Graceland and cover it next. I don't know. Imagine Disturbed doing
Oh no, I'm saying Paul
You have
Simon.
to,
Paul
you have to
Simon
be
due for a
careful. You have to be careful
Disturbed cover.
covering Disturbed, because they'll either drop a
Oh.
lawsuit or they'll drop plates on your ass. It's one or the other.
Okay.
You're
I'm
asking, what do
thinking-
you think Paul Simon should actually return the favor and
Right.
cover a Disturbed song?
Is,
Is that what you're
is
saying?
Disturbed, are they the ones that sing Let the Bodies Hit the Floor?
No, it's Drowning Pool.
Okay. Whoa. Excuse
You
me.
are right on top of that.
Excuse
Oh, I
me,
listened
Joe.
to my fair share of new metal in middle school.
Yeah,
My
listen.
fair
Joe's
share.
no stranger. Joe's no stranger to letting bodies hit the floor.
No stranger at all.
No shame in new metal.
Especially if they're ghosts.
But
No ghosts this time. No, this is before I saw my first ghost.
what's the big Disturbed song again, though?
Stupefy.
Oh, wow.
Stupefy.
Down with the sickness. It's
Down with the Sickness? Is that
Yeah.
I could see Paul Simon covering that.
that.
that? I would
More
love
of
to
a
hear
Richard
that.
Cheese rendition.
Paul Simon, if you're listening, please cover
Definitely.
Disturbed Down with the Sickness.
I'm pretty sure he's a regular listener.
At least Art Garfunkel.
I've got a lot of Paul Simon here. I just never listened to it. I don't know why.
Well,
Service.
you're missing out, man.
Well, it's not like I don't want to. It's just I always see it. I'm like, oh, I gotta listen to that one day, and then I put something else.
You always have a medical condition.
Do it now. You light up. On the,
True.
put it on. You can't move again.
Down with the sickness for way too long.
You know what? But Greg, I might, maybe part of the reason you haven't been listening to Paul Simon very much is you're not a dad.
This is
Yeah.
true. I will never be one either. So
Yeah. You made the decision not to be a dad, and I respect that. But once you become a dad, Paul Simon becomes an important part of your life in a way that you can't imagine.
They actually hand it out in the emergency room.
Yeah.
I could always get the procedure reversed, and when the doctor says, "Why do you want to do this?" Like, well, I really just want to get into Paul Simon.
I love the idea of the doctor just handing you a cigar and Graceland.
Like when October 2nd,
Congratulations.
our baby's due October 2nd, and I want to just set up like a little radio setup, like a vinyl setup for the emergency room, and as soon as the baby comes out, play Graceland just to enter into dadhood.
Welcome to the club.
That'd
Welcome.
be great.
Your
Have
initiation.
a picture of Paul Simon with a candle.
Yeah, like
As the baby's coming out, the first thing it sees, Paul Simon.
Well, no, they say that you're supposed to play music for the kid in the womb. Maybe you can play Graceland.
Mhm.
Joe, do you have any Paul Simon albums on vinyl?
I do not, and I need to.
Okay.
That's
I'm gonna send you a care package for when you have
Oh, I won't buy any on vinyl then. I love that. That would be amazing.
Yeah, when we're done with this, I'll go through. I'll take a look and see which ones I've got. I don't think I have Graceland because I know I would have listened to that if I had. I have a lot of Simon and Garfunkel.
Mhm. It's not the same. I gotta say, there's something different about Simon and Garfunkel versus Paul Simon solo. Simon and Garfunkel is not dad music. I don't know why, but Paul Simon is.
Interesting.
You know what? Actually, I do know why. Because Simon and Garfunkel is too emotional.
Okay.
Paul Simon hit this point. He kind of perfected this thing of writing songs that are thoughtful and interesting, but the sound of the music is generally like pretty, like makes you feel good, and it's nice to have on in the background while you're doing something else. It's like the right blend of you can listen to it or not listen to it, and you're gonna be fine either way.
Like you're not missing out. If I don't hear
Yeah.
this song, I'm not missing out.
If you tune out for a few minutes, you're not going to be like, oh, what's going on now? You'd be like, you can just come in and out. It's perfect to have music. You zone in and out, pay attention to what you want to, pay attention, not pay attention to anything. And it's fine. It's just there. It's just there for you, like a warm blanket that you can wrap around your dad body.
One of those fancy weighted
Or the
ones.
entire cast of Friends. They'll be there for
I'll
you.
be there. Yeah, when the rain.
I watched way too much Friends this past 3 days while I was in the hospital.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That show is really just not great.
Does it hold up? I was going to ask. I feel
It
like
really doesn't. I was never into it back in the day. I know it's like a cult. It's not even a cult thing. It's like a mainstream cult thing.
Very popular.
It's very
Yeah,
popular.
It's actually the most popular show of all time. So,
Well, I don't know about that, but
no, it was.
My
Yeah.
drummer, my friend Daniel and drummer at Transit watched Friends for like an entire tour, like
Oh,
the
geez.
entirety of it. And I just remember the song coming on constantly and just hearing the song, the intro song over and over and over. And I was like, you know what? I'm more of a Seinfeld guy. I don't think I liked Friends. I just
yeah,
didn't
Friends.
get
It's
into
just
it.
it doesn't hit. The jokes aren't. It's very predictable humor.
Mhm.
The
Predictable.
storylines are fine. They're normal. They put their own little twist on it, but some of it's just really stupid.
Yeah. I feel like they have moments. There's like some moments that they struck on that were funny, if I remember right. But overall, it's
Iconic moments,
a
yeah.
I feel like
rough.
they probably went long. They went over what they should have done.
It jumped the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite two that I can think of off the top of my head are is That 70s Show I love, but it's not perfect.
Mhm.
And
No,
it
not
gets
at all, but
really
it's-
bad towards the end. It gets really
Yeah,
bad.
they really stretched that out too long.
Yeah,
And
but when it's good, it's incredible.
Oh, it's
And I
fantastic.
love, obviously, Seinfeld is the best.
I talked to somebody the other day that said they started watching Seinfeld with their kids because they wanted to bring them into it, and the guy is my age. And he said, "You know what? The first season really doesn't hold up." And I said, "You
It's
were
not
100%
very good.
wrong. It is so good.
yeah,
It's
I
so
watched.
good."
I feel like it's a slow burn. I feel like it's the second season where it really hits its stride. No.
When he's like watching, he comes home from the comedy club. He's watching the Mets game in his sweats. Kramer comes in and like licks the paper that he rips out. It's so funny. The mannerisms of Kramer and just
Yeah.
very simplistic life. It was never that simple as it was in the first season.
Hmm.
Just
Must
eating
be
cereal in sweatpants, watching the Mets game. It was great. Yeah, I love the first season. It's good.
And Curb Your Enthusiasm is just getting better and better. I really think it's getting stronger as that show
Oh,
progresses.
it's untouchable.
I wouldn't say I don't like the characters as much as Seinfeld, and I think Larry David really hit his he was hitting onto some ridiculous shit like with Seinfeld, and then he's at a point where he's just bettering his craft and he's kind of maxed out. But I don't know, man. That I've never almost thrown up from laughing, besides probably from South Park and Curb Your Enthusiasm and Broad City. Broad City is so underrated. It's definitely up in the top 3 or 4 for me. That show's so funny.
John, holy shit. I have been obsessed with The Dark Place in these last few weeks. Now, that's an obscure show.
Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
I have been
Yeah.
absolutely
What
obsessed.
what channel is that on?
I've just been watching it on YouTube. I've been watching clips on YouTube.
It's a
It's
British
so
show that was on in the early 2000s. They only did one season of it, and yeah, it's amazing, but very,
got Matt
very
Berry in it?
niche type thing. Like you have.
Yeah,
to
so it's
really-
not a real show. So what it is it's an 80s show about a hospital that has zombies in it,
What?
but it's not a real show. So if you were to, so all the
There's a lot of layers. It's hard to.
yeah. So the actors in the show are actors playing actors.
Right.
So, for example, if you were to watch The Office, it would be like Steve Carell as whatever, John Krasinski as whatever.
Right.
But if you were to watch The Dark Place, it would be like Roberto Sanchez as whatever. But Roberto Sanchez is not a real man. He's the actor Matt Berry playing Roberto Sanchez, playing. So yeah, there's multiple layers, but it is so goddamn funny. Holy shit.
Right? It's amazing. And then like we talked about the other day, like just Matt Berry alone,
He is fantastic.
he's
the best.
so funny.
There's a song, the Gorillas, they did their live stream for the pandemic and all
Wait,
that
did
a couple
he do a
months
song
ago.
with Gorillas?
Okay, so on Demon Days, the album, there's the song Fire Coming Out of the Monkey's Head where Dennis Hopper reads a poem.
Uh-huh.
I guess, I don't know if maybe they just didn't want to get Dennis Hopper because of the coronavirus, but they had Matt Berry come and do it.
Oh.
And it's freaking incredible. I'll have to find it on YouTube and send it. Because I didn't know who it was at first because he was like in this big cloak and then like he takes it off. I was like, holy fuck, I know that guy. And he nails it. It's so good.
By the way, also Matt Berry has multiple albums, music that he's put out. Yeah, and it's really good. It's really good.
Like comedy albums?
No, music that
Okay.
it's not even like funny or anything. He did this like, well, Mike, you saw what's it called? We were watching some of the clips from his other show, Snuffbox, and he did the music to the intro is him, and he sings a lot of songs. Like he's a fascinating person to me. Like I can't get enough of him.
I've been obsessed with that clip where he goes, "You and he were buddies, weren't you?" I've been obsessed with that. Watched it so many times. And he goes, "Listen," he goes, "but if you and he would like to be buddies again, I won't stand in your way." I can't do it, but it's Joe, you got to see. I'm gonna
see it already, and it's just
obsessed.
you acting it out. It's not
I am
even the actual
obsessed.
clip. Oh, I'm gonna love it.
So he goes, "No, okay, here it is." So he goes, I don't know if we're still recording, but he goes, so he comes in and he's talking to this doctor and he goes, one of his friends died and he goes, "You and he were buddies, weren't you?" And the doctor goes, "At one time," and he goes, "Listen, when I first came to this hospital, I was strictly solo. But if you and him would like to be buddies again, I understand." I can't do it. I'm not as talented.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thank you. Send me that clip. Send me that clip. I'm going to put that on my LinkedIn.
Is this on YouTube only?
I'm going to send it to all you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
not on YouTube, but the clip is.
The show, Garth Marenghi somehow slipped by YouTube's stuff that you can watch them all on there, right? For free.
No copyright.
I've never seen a whole episode, but I've just seen clips.
Oh, you haven't seen a whole?
No.
Oh, it's so good, man. Well, I don't know. We've really gone into a whole.
Yeah, we should probably cut it off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we covered a lot of good ground here, and
We did good.
yeah, I think we did a lot of good work, and I appreciate that.
Greg, you and John and Brendan and Joe were buddies, weren't you?
You're buddy.
All right, that's all I got. Good night.